And I'm kind of big on affirmations. You ever heard of affirmations, which is basically things you say to yourself? Because I've had patients, and we ask them, what do you think about when you look in the mirror? Well, I think I'm fat. I think I'm ugly. I think I'm not very good. Well, guess what happens when you think those things? That's what you become. You become what you think about. And so if you can start shifting what you think about yourself, what if all of a sudden, instead of thinking I'm fat, you think, wow, I think I'm beautiful. I love the way I look. I think I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I'm an amazing person. I love my life. That's what then starts to manifest in your world. One of the things I think is important for everyone to do is analyze, take a step back, and start asking yourself, or start paying attention to what you think about. And it's probably stuff you may have here, you may not externally say it, but what exactly are you saying to yourself? If I'm working with a client, a coaching client that's having health issues or having family issues or career problems, one of the things I start having them do in the beginning is, throughout your day, take note of what it is you're thinking about yourself. What is your internal dialogue that you're saying to yourself? Is it these thoughts where are you saying to yourself, I love my life, I'm doing what I love doing, I desire to do these things, I choose to do these things? Or are you saying to yourself, I've got to go do this, I should do this, or I have to go do these things? Start taking a look and pay attention. Make note of these things, because those are going to be indications. If you're saying this language, there's something about your life that you're not loving. You're not having your values met. You're not living according to your true values, and you're not living according to your purpose. When you're feeling on purpose, you're going to feel more alive. When you're feeling off purpose, when you're not having your values met, your life's going to feel more uninspired. 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years of that, what's going to happen to your physiology? You're going to get diseases. It's going to start slow. You start having weight gain, you start having digestive problems, which then leads to more like blood sugar problems, diabetes, arthritis, high blood pressure. I mean, this is a really common thing. By the time I have patients coming here and they're 60-year-old, the average 60-year-old is on 11 medications. Okay, that's the statistics, 11 medications. Does that mean they have 11 different diseases? No, it means that they've got the body's physiology from years and years of living in this environment of got to, have to, should tos, desperation thinking, has created disease processes in their body. Now, is there something wrong with that? Or is that just the body's way of saying, hey, there's something wrong? And that's really what it is. I don't look at a person when they come in with symptoms and think, oh gosh, there's something wrong here. We've got to get rid of these. I want to know, okay, what are you doing that's causing that? What's going on physically, what's going on chemically, and what's going on emotionally? What are you thinking about that's creating this whole process? Cancer patients, same thing. With epigenetics, you can heal yourself from these things. You can change your genetics by just changing your thinking. They've done experiments with this to where they've taken a person, they've taken the cells from a human being, put them in a petri dish, took the person, created an emotional response to that person, watched the cells, and they changed based on the person's reaction, their perceptions. Now they can show you that what you think affects every cell in your entire body. Because typically what? The medical guys say, well, you've got this disease, that's how it is. Well, it's in your family, your dad's got it, your granddad had it, you're going to have it. And you know what? And it's true, if you think how they thought, if you do the things they did, then yes, you are going to have the same result. But what if you changed what you do physically, what you do chemically, and how you thought? Does that mean you're going to still get the stuff that your family got? Not necessarily. I think it changes that. You can change your entire physiology by changing your thinking. So you're not just set in stone that, oh my gosh, my whole family's got that, that means I'm going to have it. A lot of patients say, well, my dad had back pain, I'm just going to have it. Is that patient correct? If they believe that, they are. So it's your belief that's going to create your reality and is going to create your symptoms. Okay? What you believe about your life, what you believe about yourself. So if you believe you're going to get sick, if you believe that because your family had it, you're going to have it, and you strongly believe that, then you're right. You absolutely will get that. But what if you didn't believe that and you thought, you know what, I'm going to change my thinking. I'm going to have a different outcome. So you start changing what you do, how you think. You start changing what you eat and how you treat your body physically. You're going to change your outcome. You're not going to get the same old diseases that everyone got in your family. You're going to actually change the whole thing. And what I think is cool about that, especially when I have a family like a young mom or a dad who has kids, and we teach them this, then what's happening is they're not only changing their own physiology, their own way of thinking, they're changing their kids, which changes their kids, which changes their kids, which changes their kids. So you have the ability to not only affect you and your own health, but also generations and generations to come by changing your thoughts, changing the way you perceive your life. The work is inside. It's here. It's changing how you think to change your physiology. So I think it's exciting that we can all do that. And I've seen it happen many times over the years with clients that I've coached and patients that we've worked with that come in emotional states and their health is suffering. And we change their emotional states by shifting their perceptions, by releasing emotional baggage that they might be carrying for years and years and years. And all of a sudden their body heals and their disease goes away. I think it's kind of exciting to watch that happen. So we see that quite often. And so it's one of the things we do at the office is we love helping people with these kind of issues. Some of the research out there shows that when you have every time you have a thought, okay, there's an energy around it, okay? A negative thought, a low vibration thinking creates more acidity in your body. High vibration creates less. And so when you change when you change what you're eating, let's say you shift your diet, you eat more of a balanced diet to where you have more of a balance between alkaline and acid diet, that can change your physiology as well. But here's what also I see. If you have emotional stresses, if you're living here in a lower vibration thinking, got to, have to, should to, and you're stressed out, you're going to want to you're going to eat more foods that are comforting foods, because it makes you feel better. It releases dopamine in your brain that helps you feel better. When you're feeling down and depressed, you're going to want to eat more of those comfort foods, sugars and breads and those kind of foods that are typically very acidic, which then creates an imbalance in your system, which then creates other symptoms, digestive problems, weight gain, etc. So it kind of goes both ways. And so I find that patients, when they don't feel good about themselves, they have low self-esteem, low self-worth, you don't really care if you eat right as much. You just pig out and eat what you want because you don't feel worthy of good health, is what I find that patients have. If you're depressed and if your self-talk is, I'm no good, I don't deserve this life, or I'm not inspired about my life, what's the point of eating good? You're not going to do it as much. If you're feeling good, you love yourself, you love your life, you love your body, and you want to be around longer, you automatically start eating better. You automatically start to exercise more. I know in my life, when I'm feeling here, I just eat better without thinking about it. I make time to exercise. I just do it. When I'm feeling here and I'm feeling low, having those times where you don't feel so good, you tend to make excuses. You just don't have time to exercise. You just eat what you can. You don't take that little effort to take care of yourself because you just don't feel deserving of it. But it's temporary, and this is when you get your ups and downs, okay? You eat the sugar, you feel good, great. And guess what happens? Then you're down again. Then let me go get some more comfort food and feel up. And this creates other disease processes, blood sugar problems, diabetes. So the idea is, it's really, the entire universe is balanced. Positive, negative, good, bad. It's all always in perfect balance and order. The problem is when we perceive that it's not, that's when we start having stresses. When you're not seeing both sides, this is all bad, there's no good to this, that's going to create emotional stresses. The reality is it's always balanced. What I think's good, you may think's bad. What I think's bad, you might think is good. Everyone has their own perceptions, their own ideas. And everyone filters the world based on their values. But ultimately, it's always a balance. There's always an equal of good and bad. So when you relate that to your health, have a balanced diet. Eat some alkaline foods, eat some acidic foods. Have a nice balance. Exercise. Is it good to exercise every single day, 2 or 3 hours a day? I don't think it necessarily is. I think you have a balance. I think you have a nice balance of resting, relaxing, nice balance of exercise. So if you can learn to maybe have more of a balance in your life, then you can balance your emotions. So if you have balanced emotions, you can have a balanced life. Again, it's not about having this, it's about having this. Nice flow and balance in your life. If you find that you're having this, then I guarantee your diet's the same way, your emotions are the same way, okay? And so, again, it's about trying to create a balance in your life, and starting with your balanced thinking is a great way to start. When you're having symptoms and you're feeling here in this state, and you're having emotions and symptoms, great. That's the design of it. It's the symptoms and the emotions are there to try to teach you to get back here again. When patients come in with back pain, great. What does that mean? Let's look at that. And instead of saying, oh, I got back pain, give me something to get rid of it quickly, we're like, no, let's take a look and see why it happened in the first place, because it's there for a reason. Your body's just giving you a sign that there's something wrong. It has to do that. If it doesn't do that, then you never can get better. You're always going to have a problem. If you never had a symptom in your life, then you just die one day and no one knows, oh, he never didn't have a symptom, he just dead. Your body is designed to give you symptoms. Same thing with your emotions. Your emotions are there to teach you where you have an imbalanced perception of your life. So if you're feeling down and sad, where are you not seeing the other side of it? If you're feeling too elated, where are you not seeing the other side of that either? The idea is to have more balance emotionally, as well as balance physically. That's where you can have the ultimate health state, is when you have balance in both areas. Physically, emotionally, you're balanced in both areas. That's when you have a nice, I think, fulfilling, long life, a timeless mind, ageless body, and longevity. I'm sure all of us have a desire to be here for a long time. It's not just about being here for a long time. It's about being fulfilled and feeling good for a long time, because they can keep you alive nowadays. With medications and machines and things, you can stay alive. The quality may not be as good. So the idea is to have a quality long-term longevity, and that requires here and it requires here. It's a balance of both. But to me, the emotions are paramount, because if your emotions are down and you feel down and you don't feel worthy and you feel stressed and you feel like your life is not very good, you're not going to physically do the things to feel better. You just don't allow it. You self-sabotage automatically. You'll go good for a while and then you crash. You'll go good for a while and then you crash again. And because there's some underlying emotional problems, emotional states that you haven't dealt with, that you haven't learned, and it keeps cycling back and back. Guess what? That's the design of it. So are you going to pay attention and go and find out, why do I keep attracting this over and over again, so you can learn the lesson? If not, you're going to keep doing it over and over again, and eventually the body says, okay, let's give you a disease now to maybe teach you the lesson. Okay? First you have maybe a little bit of pain, maybe have some inflammation, may not feel good. Didn't pay attention to that. Okay, let's give you a little high blood pressure, and let's give you a little bit of more pain and see what happens. Nah, I think I'm just going to take a pill for that and not worry about it. Okay, cool. Here's cancer now. Now you're going to get the lesson yet? Those kind of things. And so, your body's just doing the best it can to try to teach you how to love your life, how to have balanced emotions. And the diseases and the symptoms, that's what they're for, is to try to get you to wake up and learn. You either do it or you don't. I'm encouraging that we do it, because I think we can have more fulfilling lives if we can pay attention and really learn the lessons of those symptoms and the diseases that you have. And again, if you start changing your thinking, you're going to have a different result. If you keep thinking the same way you thought, if you think how your parents thought and you keep thinking the same thing over and over in your life, you're going to get the same result. If you shift your thinking even a little bit, you're going to get a different result. I'm encouraging that we shift thinking just a little bit, and let's start practicing, learning to think differently, saying different things to yourself. What is your self-talk? Start affirming different things in your life, because the more you say something, the more you believe it, the more you start becoming that, that's what you change into in your life. Okay, I think it's more fun that way, when you can start regulating your thoughts and you can see how my physiology is changing because I'm changing the way I think. This is a really good graph about vibrations and different vibrational frequencies of thoughts. So I think it's kind of a cool chart that we have found online, and I'd love to share it with you guys. Dr. Emoto did some really great experiments with vibrations and food and thoughts. He showed that when you have higher vibration thinking towards your foods, it changes the food itself into high vibration food, and that food actually nourishes you even more. As opposed to, like you were saying, you could have a really great, lovely meal, but if you don't think high vibration thoughts about the food, it doesn't work as well in your body. I actually did this experiment in the office several years ago. I took 2 jars of rice from the same pot. We boiled some rice, white rice, 1 jar here, 1 jar here. On the bottom of this jar, we put love and gratitude. On the bottom of this jar, we put hate and disgust, I think is what we put. Every day we would come in the office, we would take this jar and say, oh, I love you, you're the most beautiful rice I've ever seen, we think you're amazing, blah, blah, blah. This one we were like, oh, you're disgusting, I don't like you, and we wouldn't even look at it some days, we'd just ignore it. Here's what happened. Within about 2 weeks, this rice started turning brown and discoloring. This rice stayed exactly the same. After about 6-8 weeks, this rice was black almost, gnarly looking, rotten. This one was almost exactly how it was the first day, by just our thoughts, how it affected the rice. Try it out. It was a cool experiment. We did it the whole staff, because the whole staff was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. But it was amazing to watch it work. And that was Dr. Emoto's work a few years ago. Look him up sometime. You can see all of his work. It's really great stuff. The movie, What the Bleep Do You Know? I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that. He talks about it in there. And you can find his work. But it's really fascinating how, what you think. And this is the idea around blessing your food. You know, when you go and sit for a meal and you're grateful for the meal and you take that moment just for a second and say, thank you for this food. You look amazing, nourishing my body. The idea is that's going to make that food work more in your body because it's got a high vibration now. Take time before you eat and just silently, out loud, doesn't matter. Thank you for this food. I appreciate this. Go to town. Now, doesn't mean you have a chocolate donut and you do that every day and it's going to be fine. I know what you're thinking, right? You want? he was already going. He was already going there. Oh, good. I appreciate this chocolate donut. I'm gonna eat this every day. I love this cream-filled donut. There's a point, you know. I think that a grateful chocolate donut versus ungrateful is better for you, but I still think that over time you've got a problem. So, anyway, good. So that's definitely some work to look up. Dr. Emoto has got some great work out there.
How do you spell that?
E-M-O-T-O. Dr. Emoto. He died actually now. He was an old guy, but he was good. Got some really great work out there. It's called the Water. It's about water. I forget the name of the book, but some really good stuff on water. He showed how the water has different crystals to it. And when you have lovely thoughts about the water, it forms a nice hexagonal crystals. And when you think negatively toward it, it's all disarrayed and not very organized, just by the way you think about the water. Also with music, he took the water molecules and he played classical, nice, high vibration music, and the water organized and was lovely hexagonal versus music that was, you know, maybe not so good or not so high vibration, and it scattered the molecules and it made the water not as good. We're at 80% water, so every thought you have, everything that your environment is going to affect the water molecules in your body. And so when you have grateful thinking, high vibration thinking, it's going to organize your body's water molecules to be healthier. When you're living here, it's going to do the opposite. It's another way that your physiology is affected by your thinking. Okay? Glad you brought that up, Karen. If you can identify what your values are, what drives you? What are the most important things in your life? Why do you make the decisions you make? Why is it that you get charged about certain things? Why is it that certain things make you feel inspired and some things make you feel not so inspired and feel down? If you can identify your core values, now you have tools that you can make decisions based on. You can understand why you feel the certain way you do. You can have better communication with others, because if you're in a relationship or you're in a job and everyone knows what your core values are, then they know how to speak to you and they know what drives you and they know what makes you excited and what makes you motivated, what makes you inspired. Then that gives you a tool to actually have more of a balance in your life, okay? And have more of a purpose in your life, because what your values are basically what your purpose is. That's what's driving you to be here. And so I encourage everyone to, at some point, I know some of you may have been through a value determination process and you understand what your values are, but to me, it's one of the most important things you could ever do in your life. If you're looking at self-improvement and self-knowledge, self-expression, is to know your values and what drives you. Now, if you know your values and what's important to you, and you know what your purpose is, now you want to increase your health in your life, and you can link your health to your highest values. Now you're going to have more of a drive to be healthy. Because here's the thing, whatever it is you're here to do, whatever purpose you have, whatever your drives are, when you feel good, and you have good health, and you feel great, it's going to be a lot more fun. You're going to be able to express and be able to achieve a lot more when you feel good. We're going to teach a class called Values Connection to Health. And what we do is we're going to take people through this value determination process, identifying your core values, okay? And then we're going to take those core values and we're going to link it to having better health in your life and better longevity. Once you understand what your values are, you can take that information and use it to create your entire life around what's important to you. And then you get to be more fulfilled and more higher vibration living, higher vibration thinking, because you know what your values are. So I would encourage everyone, if you can get a chance to come to this class, come to this class. It's one of the best classes I've ever done. I've done it several times over the years, and I think it's very powerful as far as the insights on who you are and what drives you. And if you can understand that, and you can share that with your partner or your coworkers, it opens up a whole new world of living more with inspiration, okay, as opposed to living more desperation. Next thing we're going to do is anybody who wants to, we do a wellness lifestyle questionnaire. And basically, you fill out a questionnaire, and it kind of tells us where you are on this chart as far as vibrational frequency and vibrational thinking. So anybody who wants to fill out this form, we'd be glad to go over it with you and see what your results were, and go over it with you and give you some insights on, what makes you tick. So Tanya's going to hand those out too. Next talk is next month. Here's what we're going to go over. We're going to go over addictions and how to look at addictions. Now, addictions aren't just about the big-time drugs like you all know about, but it's also addictions to sugar. It's addictions to different foods. It's addictions to different things in your life, where anything that you feel like you've got to have, okay? And that's more of anything you think, gosh, I really would love to not do this, but I just can't seem to stop. Or anything you want to start doing more of, but you can't seem to start doing and stay with it. We're going to go over in next class ways which you can actually change the way you think about your addictions and then shift those a little bit. So you can actually get the result that you might be looking for, or maybe you tried to get a result that you just haven't been able to do it. A lot of times it's because of some addictive thinking, addictive behaviors that you may not even have, or that you know you've got, that you haven't been able to shift. So next class, which is last Monday in April, then we're going to go over this. It should be pretty fun. So come join us on that next month. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Have a good evening. We'll see you next time.